What's up guys, welcome back to another upSchool video. So in this video we are going to be learning about crop production and management. So this is a part 1 video of lesson 1 in NCERT class 8 science. So without any further ado, let's begin. So this video, as I said, is a part 1 of chapter 1, crop production and management. So key terminology in this lesson: crop, rabi crops, kharif crops, soil preparation, and sowing. So our body performs many functions such as digestion, respiration, excretion, and to perform these functions we need food. And this food, the food provides us energy, and this energy is what helps us to perform these functions. So 2 million years ago, in order to get food, our ancestors used to practice hunting and gathering, which looked something like this. Every day we would just go hunting and gather some food. Because the food provides us energy, and the energy provides us to perform body functions, which in turn help us live. But later we found out that hunting and gathering wasn't very effective for getting food, for energy, because some days we could hunt a vast amount, but some days we couldn't. It was kind of a win or lose situation. So that's when we started to grow our food through agriculture and other cultivation. And we started to cultivate food after we discovered iron, because iron is used for agricultural practices. It's the main tool is iron. So when iron was discovered, that's when I realized that we can use these tools to cultivate our own food. So nowadays we don't even have to grow food, we can just go to our market and we can just pick out our food. So when farmers perform agriculture, or when farmers grow food on a large scale, it's called agriculture. So agriculture, its definition is the process in which food is grown for a large scale for food and commercial purposes. So in this lesson we're going to be learning about agriculture in India. Let us start with 1.1, agricultural practices. So what is a crop? We might have heard farmers saying, oh, we're growing wheat crop, rice crop, but what is meant by a crop? So a crop is literally the plants of the same kind that are grown on one place at a large scale. For example, wheat crops, rice crops, and tomato crops, etc. So crops, based on the season they're grown, can be classified into kharif crops and rabi crops. Kharif crops are grown in the summer, from June to July. They're harvested in September to October, and these crops require a lot of water, so they're grown in monsoon season. Hence, they're called monsoon crops. For example, wheat. Rabi crops are grown in the winter season from October to December. It's harvested in March to April. For example, wheat and peas. Basic practices of crop production. So, to produce a crop, there's many practices that are involved. Preparing soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, weeding, harvesting, and storing of crops are all the processes that take place to grow a crop. And these practices take a lot of time and requires the good use of time and the best tools. So in this lesson we're going to be learning about, in this part 1 lecture, we're going to learn about only preparation of soil and sowing. In the next lessons we're going to be going through the other practices. So stay tuned. Preparation of soil. So preparation of soil is literally loosening the soil. Just getting a plow or whatever tool you're using and just trying to loosen and turn the soil. But why? Why do we have to loosen the soil? Loosening soil helps the roots to get more air, helps in the growth of useful microorganisms and earthworms, and it helps the nutrient-rich soil come to the top of the soil. How is preparation of soil done? So the traditional method to prepare soil is through a plow and the practice of plowing. Now, the practice of plowing involves using a plow, which involves the plow shaft and the plow share. And the bottom of the plow is made of iron, and it just helps in loosening and turning the soil. And it can be and it can be turned and maneuvered even with a person, or it can be used with bulls or buffaloes, other animals. The modern method to prepare soil is the tractor and the seed drill, not the seed drill, the tractor. And the tractor is far more efficient than using a plow because it's much more faster and it gets the job done a lot efficiently. So obviously technology in these days are much better than the traditional methods, but even today many farmers aren't able to afford tractors and they're still having to use the old, rudimentary, inefficient practices of preparation of soil and other agricultural practices through the old methods. Sowing. So sowing is literally the process of inserting the seeds into the soil. So this is kind of basic sense, but in order for a crop to be grown, the seeds has to be planted into the soil, and through water and other um, necessities, the seed bursts into the actual crop. And sowing is the probably the most important part. Well, it's done after preparation of soil, as we already discussed, because it helps the roots to deepen into the soil and other reasons. But the next step is sowing, which is just inserting the seeds into the soil. So the seeds must be of good quality and must be free from diseases to ensure that the crops that are grown are also free from diseases and are of good quality. How is preparation of soil done? So the traditional methods is broadcasting, and it just involves two people uh, placing the seeds into a sort of like a funnel shaped tube where their furrows are created and dropped into the soil. But this method is very inefficient because there's no way to measure the distance between seeds. And the distance between seed placement is very important, as if seeds are rather close to each other, then it may lead to its two seeds using each other's nutrients, and it's not very good. That's why the seeds have to be placed at proportional distances from each other. And that's why broadcasting wasn't really efficient for that, and many seeds would have been wasted. That's why the modern method of using a seed drill is far more efficient, as it ensures that there is a gap between each seed. So guys, that's about it of this part 1 lesson. Stay tuned for part 2 and maybe part 3. So that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is upSchool. Peace.